So this is my new little buck loader. Arrived a couple of days ago. This is what it looks like. Came on the pallet, screwed down, cling film around the top parts. I purchased this after looking online and reading about these small loaders. Actually, it's not so small. It's 48 inches wide. I had considered this one, and at the same time I was considering a Buford bucket, but quite frankly gave up trying to contact the person that is whoever it is that makes those, because I just couldn't get any response. So I think this is the best one for me anyway. It's light to mount. It's got good reach and height, and carries the right amount of weight for me. I'm going to be using it for sort of landscaping tasks on our property. I was exchanging emails with Steve Person for a couple of days and then spoke with him at length. Steve Person is the father of the father and son team that builds and sells these from there, I guess from Illinois, I believe it is. So far so good. It looks good. I'm kind of pleased with what I see so far. The only slight hiccup was that the shipping company was meant to have called before delivering it so that we could actually set up a specific time. I was down in the city for a couple of days, and fortunately my wife was here, but when the truck driver came, we came unannounced, and wasn't particularly keen on being helpful as to where to put it, so he just dumped it here, which isn't too bad after all, but you know, could have been better. They should have called, and they didn't. But anyway, so I'm looking forward now to unwrapping this thing and mounting it on my 445 John Deere. I also have a 425, so sometimes it might be on there, but most of the time I envisage using this on the 445. But again, looks nice. Paint looks good, and the worlds look okay, and everything so far looks good. So I was in touch with Steve Person like on a Thursday or Friday. I believe I placed my order online on the Sunday. They shipped it on either Monday or Tuesday, I believe, if I remember, and it was here like the following Tuesday, so about a week to ship. As I say, all good. It would have been nice though to have had a call from the shipping company so that we could have actually been ready for it and made sure someone was here. But yeah, so the turnaround was pretty quick. I paid $16.50 for it, and shipping to a residential address was $300, so it was $19.50 total. I guess no tax, and I think that's good value. Would have been nice to have gotten a John Deere 440, a 40 loader, but they're much more expensive, and even a good used one is going to be nearer to 3,000 around here. I'm in the northeast on the New York-Massachusetts border in the Berkshires. They're tough to come by, and the ones I have seen on the very rare occasion have been very expensive, or they're somewhere far away where I'd have to pay a lot to ship them anyway. So I'm pleased with this. I think this is going to do the job I need it to do. It's obviously front mounted, but I think the 425, 445 are both well strong enough up front to deal with the sort of lifting and the kind of work I'm going to be doing with this. So with the wrap off, it's easier to see now the various bits and pieces. Yeah, the worlds, as I see them anyway, aren't the prettiest. But in all honesty, that's not going to bother me. It's much more important to me that they're strong enough to do the job they're designed to do. They're meant to do what they have to do. And the paint hopefully will hold up. It's a little flat in places, but it looks like it's John Deere green, so it should match the tractor. Pistons look good. Two rams there. They look as though they are Delavan rams. The mounting bracket, the wooden bracket they used to mount at the rear there, obviously got broken in shipping, but I don't see any problem with that. Hopefully I'll be able to dismount it from the pallet and get it on the tractor without too many problems. It's obviously a heavy piece, although hopefully not so heavy I can't mount it by myself. I know on their website they show you how to do it. You step inside and just basically lift over the tractor bracket and then place the pins in and hook up. So that's what I'll be trying to do shortly. So earlier on I took the loader, little buck loader, off of the pallet. Wasn't too difficult. Moved it around, and now I've lined up my John Deere 445, and from what I remember from looking on the Little Buck website, I have to climb inside there, leg either side of the pistons there, and I should be able to lift it up and hook it over. So I guess that's going to come up over the top of the weight bar there, and then the pins are going to come around and hook up. Okay, so here goes. I'll give it a try, and I'll let you see how it worked out. So I found it was easier to, rather than try to drag it nearer to the tractor, I found that I could nose the tractor in further than I originally had it. I then stepped inside there, lifted it, and I was surprised to see that nothing hooks over here. It literally sits on top of the weight bar there with notches either side, as you can see that, and then the pins are down below. The one pin went in reasonably easily. They do say you have to wiggle them. The one pin went in relatively easily just by wiggling the thing, moving the bucket around. The other one is still out, but I think it could be because of the angle of the ground here, maybe just throwing things out a little bit. And what they do say is that it's best to hook up the hydraulics, move the bucket, and it should just drop in automatically then. So that's indeed what I'm going to try and do, but it's basically positioned on the John Deere at this point. So I'm now I need to get someone to snip the ties and then just check the colors. These should be color coded. Okay, they are. It says green, black, and then I guess the others are going to be gray and whatever. Mine lost and red, of course, and then I need to just check the colors. Mine aren't so visible these days, so I'll check with my other tractor to make sure I'm getting it coded. Probably has yellow down there. Okay, so here goes. Okay, so the bucket, the little buck front loader is all hooked up now, and I've already been working with it, and this has been packed down for many years, like maybe 10-15 years, and she's going through that quite nicely. Very pleased with it so far. Hooking it up, there were one or two problems that I hadn't expected. I guess because these hydraulic hookups at the front here have never been used. Certainly I've had this tractor for about 16 years, never used them. And I had cleaned them and put a little WD-40 on them a couple of days ago in anticipation they may be a bit sticky, but they were still a little sticky. Then when I hooked them up, the the lower set that controlled the actual lift of the arm were not working at first, it seemed. And what I was finding is I was moving this lower lever here, but it wasn't moving very much. And then when I gave it a little bit more force, it started moving forward and back properly. So I think it was all just a little seized up and jammed up. And maybe that's even why it was more difficult to hook those lower ones up as well, because maybe I wasn't able to relieve the hydraulic pressure to hook them up. But after I managed to get around that, things were fine. And again, I'm very pleased with how she's performing so far. It's working well. I've tried it on all different types of, just samples of different types of work, and she's working nicely for me. Just exactly what I wanted, so I'm pleased. Let me just start it up and show you the movement on this, because what's so nice about this, compared with other ones I had considered, is just the degree of reach and movement on the little buck. It's really quite nice. So we'll start her up here. See, it's pretty good. Plenty of Up and down movement there. Plenty of movement on the bucket as well. But you have to be careful when you're raising a load up that you don't tilt it back that way, because you're going to get covered. And then the negative lift is pretty good as well. Wheels are way off the ground there. Again, as I mentioned, those pins were a little sticky, and then if I was doing this from scratch another time, and maybe when I've taken it off and put it back on again, I'm going to grease those pins up. That may have helped a lot there. Again, my only concern is, as I've mentioned before, that the paint looks a little thin. It's a shame they couldn't have given it another really good coat of paint. I just hope it holds up, and if it doesn't, I'm going to have to spray it myself. I do have some paint. But that's the only thing. I am planning to get a tooth bar for it. And at this stage, I'm probably thinking about a Piranha tooth bar that should fit right on there nicely. But all in all, very happy. And for the money, I think it's a nice tool. Very nice tool for the money, compared with the cost of any alternatives that can do the same amount of work that this hopefully will do for me. Okay, so I might post some more, try to get some video of me actually making this work, having a video of it in use, if I can get someone to hold the camera for me. But for the time being, that's it, and I hope folks are finding this helpful. I'm very pleased.